When I finish working, I'll get on my PC, launch Valorant, and queue straight into a comp game. This made me wonder, if I followed a warm-up routine that pros use for their matches, what kind of increase in performance will I see? So, the first thing I need to do is to find a pro's warm-up routine. Let's go with TenZ, because I think we all wished we could aim like him. This was harder than I had imagined. The first link I clicked on, titled The TenZ Aim Training Routine - Valorant Guide, literally just said,
The biggest problem I see with aim trainers is that people will spend hours on hours in them, when in reality, you should just be playing the game more.
bruh. Anyways, after watching clips on YouTube and reading random Twitter threads, I've gathered that he uses AimLab's grid shot in his free time, then uses in-game range on hard mode right before games. So I'll take these two aim training methods and make a roughly 30-minute routine out of them. Then, I'll play 2 to 5 games. I also did this on 3 separate occasions over the last 2 days to try to get more data. For the first 15 minutes of each session, I jumped into AimLabs and started to warm up. JK, that's TenZ. This is what I looked like when I first started. I've never used it before, so don't make too much fun of an immortal player being in the bottom 50% of AimLab players. Except, in just these 15 minutes, I improved my score by 34%. I plan to continue this routine, too, to analyze longer-term aim training, so make sure to get subscribed so you don't miss that. Then, I jumped into the range, and again, for 15 minutes, I trained against hard bots. Interestingly, my first score was actually my highest. I think because my arm was starting to get slow due to my low sense. I play 400 DPI at 0.41 in-game sense. So, after all this, how did it actually affect my game warming up? First, let's look at my reaction time. By counting the frames in between when I see and when I first shoot or start flicking towards an enemy, I can get my reaction time. Note that I count the start of a flick as a reaction, because if I do the time to shoot, then enemies that are far from the center of my screen will lower my reaction time, which is not what I'm going for. In this example here, you can see his foot here, then in 2 frames, I shoot. Since the recording is in 30 FPS, doing some napkin math, that would indicate that this was roughly a 70 millisecond reaction time. However, I can throw this out as a pre-fire because the fastest human reaction times are in the low 100s. After taking about 10 random samples from games after warm-up, and 10 from games with no warm-up, I found that I consistently reacted about 2 frames, or about 60 milliseconds faster in the games right after a warm-up. While it may not sound like much, at the Phantom's 11 rounds per second, I basically shoot 1 extra bullet every engagement when I'm warm. This clearly translates to more kills. Think about all the times you dinked someone for 140 and wished you just had 1 extra bullet. Next, looking at whether warming up gave me god tier aim, no. I would say even with warm-up, my aim is below my rank's average. But it certainly improved my trash aim. Normally I average about a 15% headshot percentage, and in the games where I warmed up, I averaged 18%. However, where I think the warm-up reflected the most was what I'll call the eye test. Rewatching my perspectives in these games, I looked alert, snappy, and confident. I think easily the biggest difference between warming up and jumping into a game cold is that when I started these games, I was awake. Instead of taking a few rounds, or even a few games to start heating up, I was getting 1 or 2 kills in the opening pistol rounds and carrying that momentum forward throughout the game. A stat that reflects this is how I went 6-2 in opening duels this game. But it wasn't all just freelo as it may seem. In the first game I played after getting this idea and warming up, I went negative when I tilted from insta-lock duelists complaining about my smokes. And by the end of my 3rd straight game, it was clear that any advantage I had from the warm-up was gone. I was back to having a slower reaction time and less accuracy. This 9% headshot percentage says a lot when compared to these games right off a warm-up. Especially because as you've been seeing in these clips, I was using the AWP in these ones and not in the Viper game where I had the lower headshot percentage. Learning from this, if you're someone who cares about your rank games and desperately wants to rank up, I would make sure to jump into the range for like 5 minutes in between your games, in addition to your normal warm-up. With its long freeze times and tactical play, you're spending the vast majority of Valorant games not actively aiming, so a quick refresh in between games could make a big difference. Overall, it is clear that warming up improves your gameplay. And so does watching this video, showing you how I would get to Diamond with bronze aim.
Item 45. Oh, 200.